The reinforced titanium cage arrived at the New Geneva Academy on a Tuesday morning, carried by 4 security personnel in full hazmat suits. Professor Martinez watched through the classroom's reinforced windows as they maneuvered the transport unit across the courtyard, its contents obscured by electromagnetic shielding that hummed with barely contained energy. "Today, you'll witness firsthand why the Galactic Accord exists," Martinez announced to his advanced xenobiology class. 23 students sat in tiered seating, their neural interfaces blinking softly as they recorded the lecture. The creature you're about to see was captured in the Vega system's asteroid belt. Classification: Apex Predator, Threat Level Omega. Lyra Thorne sat in the back row, her fingers unconsciously tracing the silver pendant at her throat. Unlike her classmates, her neural interface remained dark. The Academy's board had granted her special dispensation. A rare genetic condition made standard neural implants incompatible with her brain chemistry. What they didn't know was that her condition was no accident of birth. The security team positioned the cage at the center of the classroom. Through the electromagnetic field, a shadow moved, something large, serpentine, with movements that defied the three-dimensional space it occupied. "The void WIRM," Martinez continued, his voice tight with barely concealed fear, "exists partially outside our dimensional framework. It feeds on fear, specifically the bioelectric patterns generated by terrified minds. Observe how it." The electromagnetic field flickered and died. Emergency lighting bathed the room in red as the creature within became visible. It was beautiful in the way that catastrophes were beautiful, a writhing mass of liquid starlight contained within a form that hurt to look at directly. Its body seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, edges bleeding into reality in ways that made the students' augmented vision system struggle to process the data. The void WIRM's attention swept across the room like a searchlight, tasting fear from each student's mind. Neural interfaces sparked and overloaded as terror flooded their augmented consciousness. One by one, they slumped in their seats, overwhelmed by primal dread. Then its gaze found Lyra. The creature froze. Its multidimensional form contracted, pulling itself fully into three-dimensional space for the first time since its capture. When it spoke, its voice bypassed the auditory system entirely, resonating directly in the minds of everyone present. "Sister." The word carried weight beyond language, recognition, longing, desperate hope. Lyra's pendant grew warm against her skin. Around her, the temperature dropped 10 degrees as frost began forming on the classroom's surfaces. The careful genetic modifications that had hidden her true nature for 17 years couldn't contain what she was anymore. "Please," the void WIRM continued, its voice breaking with something too alien to be called emotion. "They caged me. Hurt me. Made me perform for their fear-drunk children. But you are like the old ones. The shepherds who guided us between the stars." Professor Martinez backed against the wall, his face pale. "That's impossible. The shepherds were wiped out in the dimensional wars 3 centuries ago. They were my ancestors," Lyra said quietly, standing. The pendant at her throat began to glow, casting shadows that moved independently of any light source. "And you brought one of the last free children of the void to perform tricks." The cage's lock dissolved at her touch, its molecular bonds simply ceasing to exist. The void WIRM flowed out like liquid starlight, its form expanding to fill dimensions that shouldn't have existed within the classroom's confines. "Thank you, shepherd daughter. The void calls, and I must answer." "Wait," Lyra whispered. "Take me with you." The creature's form shifted, creating a hollow space at its center. "The void is cold, little sister. And vast beyond imagination." Lyra stepped forward, her human disguise falling away like shed skin. Beneath, something far older looked out through her eyes. "I've been cold my entire life. Hiding among them, pretending to be something small and mortal. Show me the spaces between stars." As they merged and vanished into dimensions beyond human comprehension, the last thing Professor Martinez heard was laughter, alien and beautiful and utterly free. The classroom stood empty, save for the twisted remains of a cage and 23 unconscious students whose neural implants would never quite work properly again. And in the void between worlds, two ancient spirits danced among the dying light of distant suns.